Well, hello everyone, here with you once again. It's Ebenezer Roxon, and you can call me Jesus Power. I humbly welcome you to today's lesson on health and safety at the workplace. Again, health and safety at the workplace, which is specifically referenced from CIC, that is Cambridge International College, UK, Ghana Affiliate Centers. And in Ghana, as I said earlier on or previously on our tutorials, we have three current affiliate centers. We have Asinfosu campus, we have Takwa campus, and Agona Swedru campus. Now, quality education, as I always say, is our top priority. So in the light of this, do not forget to connect with us on our various social media handles. On LinkedIn, it is Ebenezer Roxon. On Facebook, Jesus Power Group. On Instagram, it is Jesus Power 12. On Twitter too, we are there. It is GH Jesus Power. You can also send in your comments, your questions, your suggestions, in fact, anything at all that is making your mind preoccupied. Just forward it to our email, that's jesuspowereducate@gmail.com, so that we see how best we can assist you. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel too, as this tutorial is probably brought to you by Jesus Power Educate. Jesus Power Educate. So on YouTube, it is Jesus Power Educate. Kindly subscribe to it. Hit on the notification button so that whenever that we upload, you'll be the first person to receive our alert. Now, today we are considering Module 4 of the CIC study manual, which has to do with work at height. Work at height. And this is the second part of it, that is building and construction work. Building and construction work. You see, in our previous tutorials, we learned that any job functions or any working activity at all that demands the individual worker to either be above or below ground level, that activity is termed as what? Work at height. And today we are considering the various activities under the building and construction site, or the building and construction work, that demands the individual worker to either work either above or below ground level, and the needed precautions that needs to be taken, even on the side of the contractor and then on the side of the client, and the various equipment that are possible to be used at the building and construction site, and the needed safety precautions that needs to be undertaken. So let us consider the introduction, thereby defining what a site is. And as we can see here, a building or construction site is defined as any place where one or more of the following activities is undertaken. So all these activities that we are going to unveil, if we find ourselves discharging duties in these activities, then that place or that environment is termed as what? A site. 1. General building work, which may be domestic, commercial, or industrial building work. And that is why often when our family, or let's say ourselves, we are putting up a structure, being a domestic structure, that is a home or an apartment, whenever that we are moving from one place to that place, we say that, oh, we are going to site, oh, I'm going to site, I'm going to site. So general building work, which may include domestic, commercial, that is for business purposes, or industrial building work, that environment or that function is termed as what? A site. Again, civil engineering projects involving road or bridge building, water supply, sewage schemes, and river or canal work, all these environments are termed as what? A site. Again, we have woodworking workshops together with woodworking machines and their associated hazards. It's termed as what? A site. And we also have electrical installations and then plumbing work. So where all these activities are undertaken is termed as what? A site. Again, painting and decorating, which may be either internal or external, and work in confined spaces such as excavations and underground chambers. When all these activities are found in the particular environment where we find ourselves, that place is termed or can be defined as what? A site. Now, let us consider this. As we stated at the start of this module, Serious accidents, including fatalities, which may extend to death, occur on new building and construction site and during repair. So this is to say that accident does not occur only when we are putting up new buildings or new structures. No, even when we are repairing, renovating, and reconstructing, accident is prone to occur on existing buildings. And we have already discussed accident involving ladders, yes, in our previous tutorial. So if you have not done that, then quickly visit our YouTube channel, Jesus Power Educate, and then have access to our tutorials on the accident involving ladders, which has to do with work at height and the needed precautions that needs to be taken, the right position of ladders. Go and then have access to it, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and then comment as well. But many other hazards can exist on building and construction site, and that is what we are going to consider. One, people being struck by fallen materials, masonry, rubble, tools, and other items, or collapsing structures. Yes, accident causing injury to people and damage to machines, equipment, materials, and structures because operators or drivers are unfamiliar with or trained in the use of machinery and plant. All these hazards are associated or are found or can be found in building and construction site. Again, people stepping on nails and other sharp objects, and this is one of the common hazards in building and construction site. Therefore, the needed PPEs needs to be what? To be utilized whenever that we find ourselves in the building and construction site. That is why even when we are not having safety boots, it's not advisable for you to just be at the building and construction working environment. Kindly take note of that. Now let us continue from the next slide. We have people falling in pits, trenches, or other excavations. You see, whenever that building and construction works are undertaken, we normally, for example, when we are building bridges, we normally create holes, trenches, using other excavators. So when all these things take place, we must ensure that after everything, we put due care and a due vigilance in order so that people do not fall in pits, trenches, or other excavations that we have made. Tools or machines striking buried electrical cables, water or gas pipes. Again, people being buried by excavation collapses or during demolition work. People becoming exposed to harmful substances such as asbestos, paint, glues, and cleaning materials, and being knocked down or run over by vehicles. All these hazards are associated or can be found in building and construction site, of which officers in charge of safety must ensure that due diligence is made in order to either limit or eliminate the risks at all. Now let us move on, considering some of the examples of equipment often found in building and construction site. Examples of equipment often found in building and construction sites. Now let us consider these equipment one by one, at least stating either one or two uses of it, so that we will become more familiar with it whenever that we find it in our building and construction site. And we start by trenches. You see, trenches, it is basically used to dig trenches, especially laying pipes or electrical cables. So whenever that we want to lay large pipes or electrical cables, we use what? Trenches to undertake this very activity. And it is mostly used by let's say these communication industry or companies. They used to what? To lay pipes, cables, either from the marine to respective places that are demanded. So kindly take note of that. And this one too, that is motor graders, and this one too, it is a large equipment, and it comes with a long blade. Which is used to create a flat surface during grading. So it is used to create a flat what surface during grading. So this is basically found in construction site, especially construction of roofs. This is used to ensure that the surface is what is very flat during grading. Kindly take note of that too. Yeah, and basically common dam tracks, you have seen it and seen it and seen it. It is used for taking dams for construction as well as school. So kindly take note of this. And we also have almighty excavators. Yeah, excavators. And yes, it is champion in digging and moving earth and soil. Yes, so it is used to dig and then move earth and then soil. That is almighty excavators. Yeah, or an excavator. Yeah, and this crawler loader too, it is an engineering vehicle consisting of a tracked chassis with a loader for digging and then loading what material. And also in the timber industry too, it is used in logging and then to move catalogs and stack them in a pile. So that is the use of crawler loaders. Yeah, and then skate steer loaders. Skate steer loaders too. It is small and then engine powered. Yeah, it is engine powered, and as we can see over here, is used to make a wide variety of attachment to the ground. So kindly take note of that. Often when we want to attach something to the ground and basically making holes at the ground, and most borehole drillers use this kind of skid steer loaders to undertake their functions. Yeah, and scrapers too. Scrapers are both used in the construction, the agriculture, and then in the mining sectors or mining industries, and it is used in moving from one. So whenever that we are moving heavy equipment or heavy object, scrapers are used. Now let's come to bulldozers. And basically bulldozers are used for demolition exercise because it comes with a broad metal blade used for destroying buildings and for moving rocks basically at the construction site. So whenever that we are undertaking demolition destroying buildings, bulldozers champions in that. And we also have backhoe loaders. And backhoe loaders, let's describe it in brief. It's a heavy equipment. Yeah, backhoe loader is a heavy equipment that consists of a tractor like unit fitted with a loader style and shovel bucket. It is used for digging. Yeah, it is used for digging, excavating, trenching, and then more. So all these are examples of equipment often found on building and construction site, and its operations demands someone who is highly familiar with its use, who is in other ways highly oriented in the use and operations of it. Why? Because they all come with it associated risks and then hazard which may cause harm to human lives as well as properties. So kindly take note of that and then ensure it's safe use whenever that you are operating it. And you see, in some countries, activities involving building work must conform to legal management and construction regulations. So it is not any country at all that you can just put up structures, demolition, destroying, moving earth. No, or undertaking even building. No, you need to conform to the needed legal requirement for management of construction regulation, which will specify standards for a wide range of activities such as surfaces and then safe lifting. And also, even there are certain locations that you cannot even put up a structure. So kindly take note of this. The main thrust of regulation is to ensure that all work on building and construction project is properly planned, that hazard and risks are anticipated, and that suitable facilities are available to protect the health and safety, which is a necessity, the health and safety of everyone working on the site as well as visitors to. So the measures that you lay down or the measures that you put down, it is not to only secure the employees, no, the workers. No, it should extend itself in ensuring that they old visitors, that is those who will be new or those who in one or the other or by chance might visit your working environment. Measures which are accurate should be laid down in order to protect all these persons, and that is done by taking due diligence. Now, whatever construction work is to be undertaken, if the work is properly planned, due consideration is given to the hazard phase, and appropriate precautions are taken, many accidents and damage can be eliminated. And that is what we basically seek to achieve as health and safety specialists or analysts or personnel. It is either we eliminate or we reduce the possible risks involved in our daily job function. Now, let us consider some of the responsibility of the client and that of the contractor. And so, since you can't just get up to put up any structure at all, there are certain things, certain requirements, or certain functions or experience that is required. And when you are a contractor, that an award of contract of constructions will be awarded to you. You need to prove some kind of eligibility as well as the needed safety precautions that the client should ensure. Now, responsibilities of the client. Now, who is the client? The client is a person or organization requiring the building or construction work to be done, and information needs to be provided to the contractor about any known site-specific or tax-specific hazard, and this needs to be done by the client. You in the area, you know what goes in and what comes out. So if there is any known or detected associated work-related or site-related hazards, it needs to be known to the contractor. For example, that any part of the surface is fragile. When the work is finished to the agreed standard, it is your responsibility as a client to again check needs to be made that the area has been cleared and left in a safe condition. For example, that a manhole cover is secured in a place, probably maybe in the course of undertaking functions, the manhole were created. As a client, after the work or the finished work has been agreed upon, you must ensure that all areas, for example, if there was a manhole, it is covered in a secured manner. Kindly take note of this, and let us further consider the responsibilities of the contractor. Who is the contractor? The contractor is the person or organization hired to undertake the building or construction work. And note that assessing health and safety competence can be complicated. Yes, assessing that the safety competence of the contractor is in line, it can be complicated and time-consuming process. But there are two levels that needs to be considered, at least two levels that needs to be considered: the primary level and then the secondary level. And the primary level involves the ability of a person or organization to prove that the arrangement or managing health, the arrangement for managing health and safety are sufficient to allow them to carry out work safely without risk to the health of any of their workers. And this is documented. And the second aspect has to do with competence as in relation to experience. This is where the second level assesses competence in relation to experience and the needs of the particular job and looks at a contractor's track record. So as the first part or the primary part, we consider the necessary documentations or qualifications. In the second level, we consider your track record, what you have done before. So it is not what you have documented that we only consider, and that is when done at the primary level, then it is all. No, we consider your core competence, which has to do with your experience, your track record. What projects have you been able to accomplish? What associated risks were you able to manage? So all these are involved in ensuring that safety precautions are laid down properly in order to safeguard lives and properties. Now, thank you very much for your attention. I do appreciate. On our next topic, do join us. Still under Module 4, we are going to consider fire avoidance under building and construction work. fire avoidance under building and construction work. Do not forget to connect with us via our social media handles. On Instagram, it is Jesus Power 12. On Twitter, Jesus Power. And then on Facebook, it is Jesus Power Group. On LinkedIn through Ebenezer Roxon. Do not forget to send in your comment, your questions, your suggestions, in fact, anything at all that is making your mind preoccupied, to our email address. That's jesuspowereducate@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jesus Power Educate, and then spread the good news. Until then, kindly stay safe and then take care of yourself. In all that you do, remember that safety first. My name still remains Ebenezer Roxon. You can call me Jesus Power. Have a nice day and all the best in all that you do. Goodbye.